Good evening, guys. I hope you're having a blessed day, wherever and whenever you're watching this video. I feel sometimes in life we feel down, depressed, or as a matter of fact, we feel like life is just out to get us. We look back at our past and think, we go through all these traumatic experiences, these painful moments, these painful lessons. And we look back and ask ourselves, it's because of my past that I'm as fucked up as I am right now. I've been thinking this past week that a shift in mindset with that idea is the difference between you being depressed right now and you looking forward to the future. What I mean by that is that instead of thinking that we, as in you and I, are basically failures from our past mistakes or past struggles, we think to ourselves that if only I had this or this, or if only my family was better well off, or if only my parents loved me a little bit more. But I say to you, instead of looking back at those events and feeling pity for ourselves, we should instead look at those past experiences, those past lessons, life points, milestones, as more so experiences that have brought us to today. And that's what the title of this video is that you are not a mistake from your past. Your past does not define you, in a sense that it has set you up for failure. More so, it is setting you up for a future success. An analogy I've been thinking of that could describe what I'm talking about is that as men, and perhaps ladies too, but speaking as a guy and me trying to figure out my own experience in going through life, I feel as though we are more so akin to a sword being forged ready for battle, in a sense. Because when you're forging a sword, you take an ingot of steel or iron or whatever material you're using to craft your sword out of. You heat it to incredible heat, like 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever. I'm not too familiar with the details. I just know the general process on how to make a sword. And so you put this material into a furnace or smelter or whatever, and you heat it up to melt it down, to mold it into the shape you want it to be in. And now once you have the general shape, you take it out and you immediately plunge it in cold water. And I know there's a chemical reaction that occurs to that affects the bonds of the carbon within the steel or the iron, changing into molecular structure. And so what you want to think of yourself as is like a sword being ready to be forged. You're currently being forged for whatever God has in store for you, so that you may enact His will on the world. And so you must relate to your struggles, to your past trauma, as akin to the sword being hammered down and being grinded down into its desired sharpness, into desired shape. So that way, once you are out of the forge, you are ready to go out and enact and go to battle, in a sense. And that's really what I want to get at today, is that don't think that just because you've gone through these experiences in your life, and you probably have an idea, they probably popped up into your head, and what I'm talking about, certain things that happened to you in your life that you feel like has brought you down, that are holding you back. But instead, turn it around and ask yourself, how are these experiences help define me to become the product that life is preparing me to be? You know, and Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers, a lot of times is what makes an outlier is not necessarily their talents or generally their birth. It's more so just the opportunities they had in life and whether or not they were ready to take them. So I'll leave you off of this, is that what opportunities do you see around you that you feel you're ready for, that you're ready to strike at, so that you yourself can become an outlier, become the sword that God will use to enact his will on the world. And whether or not you believe in God or not, the metaphor still stands, is that you're currently becoming the sword that you know that you could be. I'll leave that off today, guys. Y'all have a blessed Sunday or whatever day that you happen to be watching this on. You have a blessed rest of your week, and I'll see y'all next week. See ya.